Well, everybody, good morning. I'm in Reno, Nevada, as you can see by the sign behind me, here for my annual ski vacation. It's a little bit chilly today, 0 degrees Celsius or 32 Fahrenheit, but still very nice. And I think what we do today, I need a break from skiing, my legs are like butter, is take a walk around the core downtown Reno and show you the sights. Let's go. So, like I said, this is Reno, the biggest little city in the world. At least they claim it to be. Let's see what we have here. First thing I want to show you is this. I guess used to be the Harrah's. I think the Harrah's Resort and Casino. Yeah, Harrah's. There's still a bit of the name scarred on the wall. I used to stay here for many years, but they ran into financial difficulties, didn't upkeep the place. Elevators were rattling and rolling, carpets torn. Eventually they closed down, bankrupts, and it's been sitting, I'm gonna guess, 8 or 9 years. They keep talking about renovating it, changing it, doing it, but who knows, we'll see. Back this way, past the sign, are many casinos, El Dorado, Circus, some of the others, Caesars. Apparently Gordon Ramsay has a fish and chip shop in one of those. Have to try it out. We're walking down Virginia Street, which is the major northwest thoroughfare through Reno. Eventually changes names a couple of times here and there, but joins up to Carson, Nevada, which is about 30 miles, 50 kilometers south of here. Calneva, one of the, I would call it one of the lower rent casinos. You know, I've been coming here for probably 30 years going skiing. Usually I used to stay in casino hotels, but I think maybe I've put $1 in the slot machines over time. Never gambled, just doesn't interest me. I guess they lose money on me. Good restaurants though. You can find some good food here if you know where to look. I think the other thing you'll see down here is amazing number of homeless people. That's one thing that really astounded me. I know Toronto has its fair share, but I would really think Reno, which has a population of about 250,000, far outnumbers Toronto when it comes to homeless. Oh, what do we have here? That's new. Yeah, speaking of which, the homeless encampment, that hasn't changed. Believe. Sign over there in the background. Believe. Believe in what? I'm not sure. Is this supposed to be a whale? I'm not sure what a whale is doing in the middle of the desert, but it's creative anyways. Good for them. Oh, a couple of whales. So here's the Truckee River. Again, it divides north-south. It goes east-west. Divides Reno in half. Comes from the Sierra Mountains over that way and empties eventually in about, I think probably about 40 miles into Pyramid Lake out in the desert. Now, I'm not sure, it's either, I think it's this bridge over here but it could be this one. But I believe it's this one. Okay, so we're going to assume this is the original crossing over the Truckee River. Some fellow, I forget his name, Fuller, maybe Ferris Bueller, in 1859 put together a bit of a crossing here. And a couple of years later, he sold his business to a guy by the name of Lake. And Lake really developed things, put in a mill, some roadhouse, and what have you. And about 5 or 6 years later, or a number of years later, when the Transcontinental Railroad was coming through, the project manager renamed the area Reno, Nevada, after a northern general who was killed in the Civil War. What he has to do with this area, I have no idea, but such is the thing. But Lake, he did get some credit for founding the city, even though it may have been Ferris Bueller. So that's a bit of our history lesson, and let's carry on. Over on the other side, they're predominantly the government buildings, post office, tax department. I've had to go in there for some business. City Hall, court buildings. The Riverwalk. So I was right, it is Lakes Crossing and the Riverside Hotel. Fuller failed to strike it rich in California gold fields. Coming home around 1859, stopped here and found the highest piece of ground along the Truckee, which is right here. Built a log bridge near the site and charged a small toll for crossing. He also built a log shelter that was popular among the tired and dusty prospectors. A spring flood washed away the bridge in 1861. He rebuilt the bridge, but was looking for a way out of the toll business. And then he met Myron Lake, another disillusioned miner, I guess didn't decide to make it rich, and thought ranching might be the key in this area. So he bought Fuller's Bridge and traded his land that he had a little north of here to Fuller. And the rest is history. The river is a little bit heavy. You can see it by the waterfall is usually about twice as tall as this. And I used to see many times kayakers in those little plastic kayaks going over the waterfalls, flipping upside down, coming back, going over, rinse and repeat. Usually there were 3 or 4 of them. Don't know what happened to them. Lovely, peaceful place. You wouldn't think of it. You would think of Reno as in the middle of the desert, but it's really surprising. So here's another area that has fond memories for me. Back when I used to smoke cigars, I'd go skiing in the morning, and then on sunny days, come down here, sit up on one of those benches along the way, smoke a cigar, read my book, watch the river. Quite enjoyable. One thing I remember also is this church over here. I'm not sure the denomination, but it has one of the most beautiful sounding bells I've heard in a long time. It used to ring on the hour and at noon. Too many times you hear church bells and they're made from cheap iron metal and it's like a clank, clank, clank. But this has a really nice tone to it. If we're lucky, we'll hear it. Things haven't changed. Still the homeless hangout. pigeons. What shall we do? Let's walk down this side and then we can cross over somewhere and walk back the other side. If you've ever been to Reno, why don't you add some comments about your experience? It would be appreciated. And please help me grow the channel by clicking the subscribe and like buttons. I would be thankful. I remember one year, wow, it must be over 30 years ago or so, they had an immense, huge flood. It was so bad that the airport was actually flooded out. They couldn't, people were stranded for 3 or 4 days. But the river was so high, it was touching underneath, or touching near the bottom of these bridges. There was quite a bit of worry that, you know, broken limbs and branches and trees would just cause more destruction. But it turned out not to be too bad. Oh, getting a little warmer. You see the mountains in the background. I ski up at a place called Mount Rose, Ski Tahoe, as you can see by my hat. Been going there forever. You get a season's pass, which is a good price. It's a Monday to Friday pass, so it doesn't allow you on the weekends, hence, which is why I'm videoing today. Today's Sunday. But I think it's a spectacular resort. Locals love it. 25 minutes from downtown Reno. Now what is this? Now that is quite bizarre. Rhino Man by Carolyn Guerra. Pretty cool. A number of art pieces here. This is new. I haven't been back in 4 or 5 years. I was ill for a while. Circles. So a number of things have changed. What's this? Let's see what's on the other side. This is called Dual Nature by Cecilia Lueza. If you know any of these artists, please give us your thoughts in the comments. Oh. It's called Legend. Fish. by Nathan Pierce. I'm not sure if they have fish in the water here. I know they do up at Pyramid Lake. So they have, I think, a friend of mine, Tony, he goes there quite often, or once a year, for I think it's trout fishing. They have a contest. I'll have to check with them. Always a good idea. Please clean up after your dog. Iron Horse by Pierre Ritchie. That's actually quite nice. Oh, look at that. Yeah, made of industrial parts, screws and bolts. Really creative. Is the ground too hot for your dog's paws? Too hot for your hand, too hot for your dog's paws. That makes sense. Coffee roasters. They make a really nice cup of coffee in there. I'm coffeeed out myself, but if you're ever around this area... Now, I was looking for this. It's actually moved, but it's the same owners, Beaujolais. And if you're in Reno, you must, I insist, you must immediately go down to this restaurant and have dinner. Absolutely marvelous. Trust me. I had a beef Wellington here once to die for. Oh my goodness. Unfortunately, I'll add some political comment. Don't know if you want to hear it, but I'll be taking, this is February 8, 9, something like that. And as most of you know, I'm Canadian. And we've been having an issue with Mr. Trump threatening to do a whole bunch of stuff to Canada. So I'll be I've made the decision to take all my equipment back home with me, and probably won't return until he's out of office and the political situation settles down. Which is too bad. You know, I spend probably $6,000-7,000 Canadian every time I come down here. That's money that's lost out of their economy, and which I will now be skiing in Canada. I came down here mostly because A, there's a lot of flexibility with skiing around here. I think there's something like 30 different resorts, but a whole bunch of friends also, so very depressing. And I think this is getting to be a pretty good place maybe to turn around. The river just carries on. Good place to turn around, I think. Some nice houses, chateaus up on the hill. So we're heading back. We'll see if we can cross over and take a walk on the wild side. Well, I'm guessing there are fish in the river. Either that or these guys are delusional. Setting up shop. Entrepreneurs Goat Stop. Greatest of all time. Greatest of all time? I think so. Now here's a piece that we missed. I missed first time around. Ah, okay. So I misjudged it a bit. Yeah, there we go. High water mark. So I'm 6 feet, a little under 2 meters, and it's just a bit more than me, so 2 meters above me, above the ground here. Set January 2, 1997. Yep. Devastating flood. Look at this. Look at this. All of downtown Reno flooded. The airport flooded. Quite the thing. Yeah. Geese, as always, arguing amongst themselves. Loner life jacket station. I guess that would have been quite busy in 1997, January 2nd. Please return life jackets to the station when you have finished. That's assuming you survived, I guess. If you need a life jacket, right? Isn't it kind of late to run and get one if you're in trouble? Maybe I'm missing something. Dichotomy, church in the background, big casino in the background. I'm not going to make a comment. Reno's gone through quite a boom and bust cycle over the years. Like I said, it started life in 1859 with, what's his name? Ferris Bueller. When Ferris Bueller built the bridge. And he did that for two reasons. Two customer bases. One was the folks coming and going to the California gold fields. Donner Pass is just about 20 miles, 30 miles to the west of here. The infamous Donner Pass, and over that way, you can't see it, again another 30 miles or so is a bit of a mountain range, and on the other side of that range is Silverado, the town of Silverado, where in 1859, the same year the bridge was built here, the Comstock lode, I think the world's greatest discovery of silver, single largest silver mine was ever put together. So for a while there was a lot of traffic this way and that way because of settlers, miners, you name it. A lot of ranching around here at the same time. The reason I'm hesitating is I think I have to go this way. Yep. Eventually the silver mines wore out. Bit of a bust happened. Gambling was always legal in Nevada, so they had some casinos here, but it was more for the locals. Then they got into great business in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s also, I think. It's known as the divorce capital of the USA. Ladies, primarily ladies, would come here, take up residence for 3 months, and would get a no contest divorce. Extremely popular for that, and actually generated quite a bit of money for the town. Then in the late 50s and early 60s, the interstates came in. Interstate 80 is about 2 miles that way. If you go this way, it goes all the way to San Francisco. And if you go that way, it joins up to 90, Interstate 90, south of Chicago, and it would take you into Buffalo, which is maybe 100 kilometers from my house. So occasionally I used to drive here Takes a little over 3.5 days, long days. And I just go down to Buffalo, get on the highway, fall asleep, and drive, just head west. Well, okay, maybe I wouldn't fall asleep, but you get the picture. It was an easy drive. Good place to take some scenic shots. That's a condo building over there. Another acquaintance used to live here. Well, a friend of a friend. Closed for winter. It used to be open. I often sat here, got some nice rest. Another fish. The remains of one. Oh, look at that bird. Can you see? What is that? Oh, got an obnoxious voice. Blue tail feathers. Away he goes. I think he wasn't happy with me. Didn't want to be on camera. This is somebody semi-famous, I guess. I've no idea. Huh, Wild River Grill. This is not a bad place either. More roadhouse food, but they make, or they did, make good grub. Renaissance Hotel, they built that about 10 years ago. Very popular. There you go. First bridge built in 1860. So I think that's the government buildings over there, maybe City Hall. And over on this side, you see the reverse of the Believe sign. So I guess if you're standing on the other side, facing this way, you're supposed to believe in City Hall. Well, okay, good luck with that. Good luck with that. So ends our tour of downtown Reno. I hope you enjoyed it. That's a nice piece of art over there. Creative. Not sure what it's supposed to represent, but anyways, goodbye Reno. See you sometime in the future.